Welcome, this is our Monday, August 29, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, titling of 30 additional Indigenous communities on the cards, police force now clearing more cases of serious crimes, and Cuban-trained doctors urged to help reduce mortality rate. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan, and here now are the details. Smart City Hospital Initiative launched to deliver safe and green health care at regional and local health care facilities. Delicia Haynes has the details.
The Smart Hospital Initiative is expected to improve health infrastructure and provide comfortable work environments aimed at boosting healthcare providers' morale. 25 health sector specialists have begun training in the Hospital Safety Index and Green Economy Checklist course, which began today. The course is a part of the Smart Hospitals Initiative, which aims to have health facilities to be safe and green before, during, and after the event of a natural or any other disaster. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Health, Trevor Thomas, explains.
This program is intended to train a cadre of persons who is going to work together to ensure that discrete health facilities, having embraced this new concept, will have the capacity to provide health care immediately following disasters, and I believe it goes beyond that.
The $6 million project is funded by the United Kingdom Department for International Development as part of a $53 million project assigned for the development of Caribbean healthcare facilities. Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, encouraged the participants to tap in on the new initiative, which will help develop the healthcare system.
All in all, I know that this training will be a very good one, and as we identify health facilities to retrofit and to minimize disasters, I know that we'll work as a team, and as we all Guyanese, we'll ensure best practices.
Following training, the participants will be carrying out assessments at hospitals across the country. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
The Ministry of Education is moving to increase communication through the introduction of a new Parent-Teacher Association Secretariat and resuscitating the PTAs and student councils. Details in this report.
Increasing the number of PTAs and student councils will allow for parents and other stakeholders to share in the process of diagnosing and taking action to address issues affecting their schools and children's performance, says Chief Planning Officer in the Ministry of Education, Evelyn Hamilton.
What the ministry wants to do, in a sense, is to have our stakeholders, parents, to showers, other community leaders, being able to look at the school and to be able to say to the ministry what might be going wrong in the physical facilities, what might be going wrong with teachers' attendance, with children's attendance, and so on, and to suggest ways in which for each individual school there could be an improvement in performance.
There are also plans to have a new PTA secretariat. This will ensure a line of communication through which the concerns of the PTAs can be channeled to the Ministry for action. Minister of Education, Dr. Rupert Rupnarayan, explains.
I frankly believe that for us to move this whole education train along, we must get the active collaboration of teachers and parents. Teachers have the children in school for a few hours a day. The parents have them the rest of the time. We can't have teachers doing one thing in the classroom and when they get home, parents doing another thing. We need to ensure that the collaboration between our teachers and our parents is very strong. To that end, we are planning to establish at the Ministry of Education a National PTA Secretariat, where we are going to be able to, from the ministry, to monitor much more carefully than we've been able to do the state, the condition of the PTAs across the country.
The ministry has already engaged a PTA coordinator to assist with improving the capacity and capability of the PTAs and student councils countrywide. The ministry has also employed a head for the PTA Secretariat. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs is seeking an extension of the Amerindian land titling project. Find out more in this report.
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicock says that government is negotiating a 4-year extension of the land titling project from the United Nations Development Programme UNDP. The project is overseen by the UNDP and funded through the Guyana Red Plus and Investment Fund GRIF. It is scheduled to end in October 2017.
And in the 2017 budget, we have budgeted for that period. If we do not get the funding needed, we would have enough funding to hopefully do another 30 communities for 2017.
The money, the minister says, will be used to acquire aerial videography services, which will hasten the demarcation of boundaries in the communities. Blackfield Survey Area Inc. made a proposal of 50% discount to the government for conducting land surveys at the recently concluded National Tushaus Council meeting. The minister sees this proposal as feasible since it will hasten the demarcation process.
It is not going to get rid of the surveyors. This will complement what the surveyors are doing. It would be easier for them to now go on the ground to have their GPS reading and put their plots or reference points. So along with the community members.
On Saturday, 10 indigenous communities received land titles from President David Granger. Shanta Gobran with his Government News Brief.
The Guyana Police Force is clearing more cases of serious crimes. Renetta Lafleur tells us more.
Acting Police Commissioner David Ramnarayan says that within recent times, the police have improved their ability to solve serious crimes. The clear-up rate for serious crimes is now 58%.
Our clear-up percentage in terms of us being able to solve the crime, prepare a file, send it to advice, and have it charged, placed in the court, we have now moved to some 58%, from 20 and 25% to some 58%. That's very encouraging.
The Acting Commissioner credits the success to increased training for crime scene investigators and technicians within the Criminal Investigations Department.
We now have a capacity and capability in the Criminal Investigations Department of this Guyana Police Force that is unparalleled.
The Guyana Police Force, GPF, has benefited from continued training from the Canadian Justice Education System and the British International Criminal Investigative Training Assistance Program. The Acting Commissioner explains that this increase in capability has renewed public confidence in the GPF, which is now being asked to reopen cold cases.
And that is why a number of persons who have been victims of serious crimes, sometimes decades ago, years ago, believe and come to us and ask us to reopen more cases on all these issues.
All 7 divisions of the force have seen improved clear-up rates. Renetta Lafleur for this Government News Brief.
More than 60 Cuban trained doctors asked to give selfless and dedicated service and reduce child mortality. More in this Kadaki Amsterdam report.
Minister of Public Health, Dr. George Norton, encouraged the graduates to work diligently to raise the standard of health care they will provide to their patients. He also urged them to strive to reduce infant, child, and maternal mortality.
The vision of the Ministry of Public Health is to make sure that all the people of Guyana are among the healthiest in the Caribbean and in the Americas by the year 2020. And I know that together we can make this happen.
Meanwhile, Minister of State Joseph Harmon, in his feature address at the graduation ceremony held at the Arthur Chung Convention Center for the 68 Cuban trained doctors, says their presence is testimony to the good relations between Guyana and Cuba.
The Cuban scholarship program continues to perhaps be the greatest area of assistance, with the medical scholarship program being the flagship project of training and support.
Minister Harmon pointed out that the graduates will ensure the provision of better health care for Guyanese, especially hinterland residents.
It should be noted, my dear friends, that prior to 2015, doctors have never been assigned to hinterland health centers. Doctors have replaced medics at health centers to diagnose and treat patients in their communities and reduce referrals to hospitals.
Cuban Ambassador Julio Cesar Gonzalez Mercante highlighted the importance of bilateral relations between Cuba and Guyana and the Guyana-Cuba Medical Scholarship.
Only in solidarity we will be able to face the significant challenges we have at present and to achieve a better world that is totally possible. And in this way, Guyana can count with the boundless and firm solidarity of the people and government of Cuba.
The Hippocratic Oath was administered by Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummings. 758 Guyanese doctors have graduated from the Guyana-Cuba Medical Scholarship Program over the last 10 years. Kidaki Amsterdam for Government News Brief.
The National Tushaus Council will receive capacity boost from Conservation International through designing and testing tools needed to support the sustainable development of indigenous villages. Details in this report.
The MOU will allow more effective decision-making at the level of the NTC. Both bodies will collaborate to secure funds to finance the implementation of this agreement. However, Tushaus were calling for more discussions on the agreement.
The document was distributed to us as NTC executives to have a look at it, read it, and discuss. And I am here as one person representing my community members up in the Upper Mazaruni as an NTC executive. My people don't know out there what is the content of the MOU. There were Tushaus who were concerned, let they go back and inform their people. But our cry fall on deaf ears, and so the majority applaud and give okay to the NTC to sign the document.
Head of Conservation International Guyana, Dr. David Singh, provided some level of clarification. He explained that Conservation International has been operating in Guyana since the late 1980s and has commenced work on the harpy eagle conservation, and then on the establishment of the biodiversity conservation, and has worked in many villages promoting sustainable development. The Indigenous Peoples Affairs Minister Sidney Allicock, in his address, supported the MOU by saying that he thinks this is an opportunity that should not be taken lightly. The Ministries of Indigenous Peoples Affairs and Natural Resources and the Conservation International had signed another MOU for Hinterland Sustainable Development Project, aimed at providing financial and technical support to indigenous communities for achieving sustainable development targets, which includes the development of the health services and education, preserve the environment, traditions and culture, and improve governance. The MOU aims to enhance sustainable development of the indigenous communities in keeping with Guyana's green economy efforts. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Ramprasad reporting.
Those are the reports we covered in today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website and Facebook page. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be updated as the news unfolds. All government and other information can be accessed from GINA's website and Facebook page. We encourage you to join us again tomorrow when we bring you another edition of the Government News Brief. Until then, thank you for watching.